Hello Meg, I'm fine, but I you are mute, I think.
You read my lips there. How is that better? Why does
Yes.
this one bring you on mute? All the who knows the mysteries of Zoom.
So I was unable to attend the last meet since due to KCD Mumbai, but yeah, I'm on a track now.
All right. So, are you working on something now?
Yes, I had gone through the issue section and came across the KLT migration guide. So would
Aha,
like to work on that.
that's right. You're working on the intro, right?
Yes, we'll
The
start
intro
working
to
on the intro.
KLT, yeah. And we finally made 080 um yesterday just before the community meeting. So, and I found one thing I've got to put on that. And then I'm going to try to get um the basic structure of the migration guide merged so we can work against that for the migration guide.
Sure.
So, and that,
I
which is going to
also
be a lot of
attended,
fun. Hmm?
yeah, and I also attended the last week refinement meeting. So also over there, I got to introduce some of the software issue where I can contribute. Yeah.
Wonderful. It's going to be fun because the bottom line is nobody knows how to do the migration. We
Hmm.
haven't done it. So, but we've got to start, I figure we can write down what we know and then we'll grow it over time. That's how you get a migration guide.
Yes.
So
Hmm. So I went through the whole issue and the issue clearly I can showcase what are the problems that we are facing regarding the migration one. So over there, I think there are five issues, six issues. So I can start contributing to each of them,
okay, well, do
making
because I'm working on a bunch of them too. So we're gonna have to share. So do one
yeah,
issue
sure,
at a
sure.
time. Yeah. Um, and let's see. I could actually pull that up, couldn't I? Which would make sense. And we could look at it. Issues. Here we go. Okay, can you see my screen then?
Yes.
Okay. So we've got for now, this is sort of our working um outline, I guess. I hope the task measures the 1, 2, 5, 6. Yeah, so we've got 6 tasks. Yeah. And no, there isn't. No, there's stuff missing here because I've got those three are sort of in one of those. So which of these would you like to start on?
I can start working from migrating continuous delivery. That one.
The which one?
The migrating continuous delivery with KLT.
Delivery? Okay.
Yeah.
Um, well, open it, please. Okay. Let's do that. So, um, shoot. We've got to get you. It seems like if you put we've got it when we get your, um, how far are you from applying for membership in the community?
So
You've done
my
some people.
four of my PRs have been merged, and uh, Andre and you had recently to will be able to sponsor me if I can apply.
Yes. Yeah.
So should I apply for the member post?
Why don't you? And in the meantime, if you comment, it looks like if you comment an issue and say, I want to work on this, then we can
Hmm.
assign it to you. And once you're a community
Sure.
member, of course we can, but if you'd like it, we'd like to have you.
Definitely, definitely. We'll make a
Okay,
PR.
so you go through, you found the process that you fill out a PR for
Hmm.
it, and we approve it, and then you're in, I think so.
Sure, sure. We'll make a issue in the community section of Keptn. Definitely.
Yeah.
So, since the upper two issue, since you were working, I went through that. So I decided to start working from the migrating one.
And so do you have an idea what to do with that?
No, no, no. Can you
Uh,
can you provide a gist of it so I can get started?
okay, you're gonna have to get creative here.
Hmm.
Um, let's see, let's go over and look at the V1. There we go.
Hmm.
You haven't really worked with Keptn V1, have you?
Yes.
You have or have not?
Have not, have not.
This, you know what? This may be a tough one because what you're gonna get into, let's look at it in the reference. So basically, in V1, we have something called the shipyard,
Yes.
which is, I think, I mean, there's just way too much in one file, but
Hmm.
it is what it is. So here you've got, so what you're gonna have all your stages, and
Hmm.
then the sequences are things that you want to happen in that.
Hmm. Yes.
So they're gonna need to take this material and then turn it into the kept task definitions. And this is going to be wild.
Hmm.
You know what might be an easier one to start on is
Yeah, can you tell me? Yeah.
the metrics,
Metrics part. Huh.
because the
Yes.
metrics provider, um let's see how much um we should make that as a, okay, because what we have, um let's see, didn't make a separate one. I should make a, let's do right now a new issue. Um and let's actually make it a small one. Let's define,
Sure.
um how to define Keptn metrics
Metric.
provider resources
Hmm.
for data sources. Um, oh, I'll go fill this out more. Um, later, or maybe. Well, let me leave you a clue.
Hmm.
Um,
Women.
your data sources, that's going to be like Prometheus, Datadog,
Hmm.
Dynatrace,
Dynatry. Yes.
um, are associated um as integrations.
Hmm.
So um So if we go to the V1 doc down here, there's integrations. And so here, oh, are they gonna, I wonder if it's nah, they're gonna be, okay, so there, well, there's data, let's go for Prometheus. Okay, so there, if you're using Prometheus, you would have to install this integration
Yes,
and,
in a form of, yeah, main
right,
files or
right,
CID. Sorry.
right. Well, this is now Keptn V1, it's not a CRD. In Keptn
Oh,
V1, where they're converting from, that's migration, it's tough. Um,
hmm,
they're gonna have to install this Prometheus server
hmm,
and it looks like it's already saying what port it's
yes,
on, et cetera, et cetera. Um,
yes,
now for um lifecycle toolkit, in a way, I think it's actually simpler, but the migration will be a little bit tricky. But I think I think it'll be an easier first thing for you to work on.
yes,
Um,
right.
you will go ahead, you will install Prometheus and it's well set up and people feel with
Hmm,
KLT, you can have 3 Prometheus servers up there for different purposes. And 2
hmm,
or 3 data
okay.
dog, you can have all you want and they can be a mix of all of them. Um, and then for each one, like each of your Prometheus servers, and you're gonna have to have one Prometheus server because OpenTelemetry needs it.
Hmm,
Now, what I
okay.
don't know, the first question I have, but we can ask the engineers, um, can I use that Prometheus for anything else, or does that have to be dedicated only for OpenTelemetry? That I don't know.
Uh,
But
we'll
you
talk with it.
fill out
Yes.
one of these where you would give it a name. Um,
Namespace.
and so this would be like QA Prometheus, maybe. It's the Prometheus that's gonna take stuff, that's gonna do metrics for the QA deployment or
Hmm,
something. But you'd give it a unique name, and say what namespace it's in, and then say
hmm,
type, whether it's Prometheus or whatever,
yes.
and specify the URL for that.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I think local host one. Yes.
and
Target
if you need
server.
a secret key. But I think that's fairly straightforward. Um,
Yes.
yeah. And I don't know, maybe some buddies, um, are working on additional metric providers and
Y-
at the same time instructions for how you create a new one.
I
Because
think Rakshit is basically working on the metric part. And also, I got to know about the Keptn metrics provider through the KCD talk only by him.
oh,
So yeah, am well familiar with the metrics provider.
okay. Um, there we ooh, I screwed up on something here. Um,
No, you are at the correct page. The
I'm
metrics
on the
provider.
correct page, but there's a missing something here, and I will show you. And it's not a wonderful little chapter. Um, but under implementing, we have a guide chapter about Keptn metrics,
Hmm. Okay.
um, where a lot of it is stuff that somebody else had written. I just pulled it together and wrote a little bit of upfront, and we've got some other stuff. So
Hmm.
feel free, this is open season too. While you're working on like porting this, you might have information to add here. Um, oh, and another goal, what we're trying to do as much as possible, I mean, we got to deal with usability too, but we want to avoid as much as possible actually duplicating the information. So
Hmm.
like for when you're talking about porting, say for each data provider that you want, you need to set up a Keptn metrics provider and make that a link to this reference page. So they go over
Yes.
there for all the dirty details.
Hmm.
And I think even
Exactly.
there we give them, yeah, here we give them an example of the naming stuff that you might have. Dev Prometheus for the Prometheus, it monitors the development deployment, and QA Prometheus, etc. Um, so you know what I so a lot of the migrating stuff should be, it may end up being pretty short because it's going to be like fill out one of these and
Link.
do one of these and that sort of stuff.
Yes.
So, but
Getting.
look into it and talk to her, you know, and yeah, because it would be wonderful, um, you know, when we have the instructions up. As I understand it, creating, like doing an integration in Keptn V1 for a new service was a lot of work. And for
Hmm.
KLT, as I understand it, it's like 20 lines of code or something. It's much simpler and more straightforward.
Okay. Yes.
Oh, one of the big, I
Got
need
that.
to write up, but one of the big, probably, I think people now think it was a little bit of a mistake. I don't know, but a big paradigm switch is that, uh, Keptn V1 did their own configuration files for everything. They didn't use the resource, the
Okay.
Kubernetes and of course, KLT is all Kubernetes resources. So,
Yes. Hmm. We'll refer this
so,
documentation.
so, huh?
We'll refer this all documentation while making a PR concise.
Yes, yes. Um, and just so you know, and I'm not sure how this is going to work out. If you do this one, the next one we'll give you is observability, and then because one thing they've done is like if you have a metric, let's say you have a metric that's
Hmm.
reporting how many CPUs are alive. Um, if
Hmm.
you want to do an evaluation, you will use that same metric. So your
Yes.
evaluation will be if number of CPUs is greater than 8 or whatever, um, then we pass. So so that we started, if you look and see, the first, at the very beginning, they had a separate evaluation provider. So you had something like this, and it's like, that's nuts. We'll just use the metrics for everything.
Hmm. Hmm, hmm.
So
Yes. Yes.
yeah, so you'll have a metrics provider, and then associated with that, you can have both a metric. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, so there's your metrics provider, and you have your metric, and whoopsie, I've got too many tabs. I don't know where I am. But then there's your metric, and so here you give your metric a name, um, and the the namespace it's in, and which provider, that name that you assigned in the provider. And then here you put your query as it would come from Prometheus or Dynatrace or whatever. And
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
specify how often you want them to fetch that information.
Yes.
Um, and why do we have two of those? Um, and that's empty. Why is that empty? Oh my God.
I
I
think.
tell you, you go
Uh,
nuts. You should spend your life, there we go, just reading through the
hmm.
docs. Every time you do, you'll find a problem.
Yes.
Um, why we've got two of those. So there, and again,
Uh,
you got your,
Evaluation definition.
yeah,
Hmm.
so. Something else, since you've been working with these, do you know what the API reference is?
No. No.
Okay, this is, there's a little bit. This is an the API reference is actually the CRDs also in a different form. Now, of course, what we're calling the CRD YAML reference, we're writing all by hand. But this
Mhm.
is auto-generated. And so it comes right out of the source code. And assuming somebody remembered to regenerate it after they made modifications, it will always be accurate. So for this one,
Okay.
this will be in the metrics API. It has a separate API because, of course, metrics has a separate operator. And we usually want the latest one. But in here, we see, okay, so I want to see Keptn metrics provider. So here are my fields. And
Hmm.
then they start that what I said, the engineers thought that this would be fine for users. This was all they needed. And I thought they needed something else. Once you understand it, it's full of information. So, okay, version and string, we saw that now, but for metadata, so we've got something else here, another one that's called object metadata. We
Public
got
meta.
another resource over here. And in this case, that is a Kubernetes one. I have
Okay.
and the spec here, Keptn metrics provider spec. I think that's gonna be one of ours. Let's see. Yeah. And there you have, and that was where I was just over here looking. I thought, and then so I'm
Hmm.
looking, I don't see this optional thing that Nikki just did for this. But then I go into secret key selector. So you just have to keep drilling down.
Hmm.
But
Getting.
this is when you see this should always be accurate, and we're always going to be having to manually catch up with the CRD YAML files.
Hmm.
So if you see something in
Yes,
those that
getting.
you wonder if it's true, you can always check over here and see. And here, there, I found
Okay.
the optional, and it's a Boolean, and
Hmm.
it has. Now for the Kubernetes, they're done. The the commentary that is on the Keptn ones is something that we write. The engineers are supposed to write it. Sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't. And sometimes it's better than others. I just saw one that's like, no. And I forgot the path name. I need to get the path name again for where
Hmm.
you go. But any of these, if you see something here that you want to change, you can. Now the commentary is in Markdown, but it's kind of limited formatting. I don't know where there's some things that don't work, but so don't get fancy. But as long as it's pretty basic text, you're probably okay.
Hmm. Yes.
But that's kind of cool to know how that goes together.
Hmm.
Because I do periodically go and check things that to see, but and this all, yeah. So that's that.
Got that.
And tie that back to the epic then.
Hmm.
Eh, what did I do? Whoops. What did I just do? Okay. What is this doing? I don't know that they just added this little feature. I'm gonna go in because I don't think you can edit this, but I think you can add tasks. But
I
oh,
can add tasks, I think. Um,
you're going to okay. Um oh, I know what it is. I go back and forth between the Linux and the Mac computer. And
okay.
And so there we go.
Yes.
Now it's in.
Yes.
Oh, cool. So anything else you would like to discuss?
No, no. Now I will be going through documentation, and if any issue maybe arises, we will talk to you on that.
Excellent.
Definitely.
Excellent. I look
Hmm.
forward to seeing your work and I'm enjoying seeing I will over in the next couple of days, I think I will have a revised version of the upfront about KLT and versus
Hmm.
Keptn V1 for the migration. I will definitely make you a reviewer on that too, because we need to
Sure, sure.
coordinate.
It will be a great one for me. Yeah.
Okay. And you're gonna go ahead and apply for community membership, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yes. We'll also talk to we'll make a PR regarding that on the community section. We'll tag you
Yeah,
over there. Yeah.
you do the PR and propose it. And what do you need?
Sure.
2 sponsors? I'm
I
sure.
have you are the one of the sponsors and other was Argren, I think.
Okay.
Uh, yes.
And I
We'll
think
talk to
Mo,
him and then we'll make a PR.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
If we'll
Sure.
usually people jump in really fast, so but yeah, you've been
Yes.
doing good work. Your name comes up and everybody knows who you are, so I don't think we'll have a problem getting sponsors for you.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. So you want to go off and write or play or
Yes.
whatever?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks
We'll
for
leave now.
joining and we'll talk next week.
Yeah. Sure, ma'am. Have a nice
Okay.
day.
Bye-bye now.
Bye.